Testing. Okay. And we are live on opening day 2022. Happy opening day, White Sox fans. Very exciting times. And I'm sure we're all excited for this season to get started. This soon to be championship season. Maybe not soon. We have a few months to go through before it becomes playoff time. Here is my amazing live graphics that I have going on. For anybody tuning in, I want you to be able to see the show rundown. We're going to try to get through a lot in about a half hour, a little bit less. So we're going to make our predictions for the season, the entire season, all the final standings. We'll do the playoff exact rundown, how I think the playoffs will go at a later video. But let's see. White Sox news, injury updates, the roster updates. Pick to click contest. Yes, there have been some questions. The pick to click contest will come back again in this season, the 2022 season. It will run a little bit differently, but I don't know. I'm excited about it. So we will talk about that. And then if we have time, which I think we will, because I think I might be able to get through this quickly, the latest Twins trade, which might have some impact on the White Sox. So first off, starting out with making some predictions, preseason predictions. Technically not preseason. Some teams began their baseball season yesterday. Not the White Sox, though. Not the opening days that counted. I will go through all of baseball and try to make my picks, which we did last year in a different video. Also, I'm looking forward to doing some videos where we look back at last year's predictions and see how they went. Both the predictions about how the teams would go, but also we had a really fun video where we made some bold predictions. So I want to revisit all of that. So looking around baseball, and hello, anybody joining, feel free to comment as you would like. Let's see. I'm going to pull up the standings so the list so I don't miss anybody yet. So starting in the National League West, obviously it's going to be no surprise. I'm going to pick the Dodgers to finish in first place with the Giants behind them. I don't know what to expect from the Giants. I think they're going to come back to earth quite a bit. They played over their heads last year. It was amazing what they did, 107 wins or something crazy like that. I don't think that's exactly going to happen this year, but they're still going to be a very good team. And I would have even put the 107 and 55 last season. What a crazy record. I may have put the Padres ahead of them this year, except that they've already lost Fernando Tatis for quite a while. So I think that's going to be a big blow. And hello, Mike Luxak. Thank you for joining. Welcome. And here is our rundown of what we're going to go over, rapid fire style, leading up to the first pitch. As I checked right before going live, we're still on schedule. I was going to check the weather. I know it's pretty bad out there in Detroit. We should have pretty good weather Saturday, Sunday, but today's the one sketchy day. As I look outside and it's snowing where I am. This doesn't feel like spring yet, but baseball makes it all a little bit better. So getting back to the predictions around all of baseball, and by all means, anybody watching, feel free to make your predictions and let me know where you disagree. Starting in the National League in the West, Dodgers first, Giants second, Padres next. Even without Tatis, they're still a decent team. Lots of good pitching. I like to take some swings. I'm going to say that the Diamondbacks will actually come in fourth and leaving the Rockies, the newly Chris Bryanted Rockies, in the basement in the West and the NL West. I think you take that many pieces out of a team, it's going to hurt the team morale. Even if you do then go out and get, for some unknown reason, Chris Bryant, after you've mostly torn down the team. In the NL East, the Braves won the World Series, and until you unseat them, you still have to give them all the respect that they are due. Even though they lost Freddie Freeman, they did pick up Matt Olson, and I think that's Matt Olson as opposed to Chapman. I have the Braves number one, Mets number two. They are looking very good, even though they are going to miss Jacob deGrom to start the season. That is going to be a big hinge for how the rest of the New York season goes. But boy, they have got so much good offense all around that team. And I'm going to make another strike here. I'm taking some big swings on this one. I'm going to put the Miami Marlins in third place. I think that they are a young, exciting, up-and-coming team. A lot of those younger guys. Jazz Chisholm, I couldn't be a bigger fan of. He is Tim Anderson level excitement, and he's got more power in the bat too. So that puts the Phillies next, and then finally in the basement, They just call them the Sotos at this point because the Nationals are nothing but Juan Soto. And then we head to the Central, where we let's see okay. So goes without saying that the Brewers, I think, will be in first place. I don't think this is going to be a very close division race at all. I would put this St. Louis Cardinals, not the Cincinnati Reds. The Cardinals in second place. They are a team with really good position players throughout the infield and outfield. They've got a lot of question at pitching and their starting rotation. So I don't really think that they're going to challenge too hard. Although it's going to be one benefit for them is that they'll be able to beat up. This is the last season of that really unbalanced schedule where teams will be playing their opponents within the division a lot. So the Cardinals might be able to benefit from that. I've got the Cubs third. I think the Cubs are going to be actually a lot more entertaining and fun to watch than a lot of people are thinking. Some under the radar guys. First off, why did Marcus Stroman go to the north side? I really was hoping the White Sox would be able to pick him up. So I got Cubs in third there. And then I'm going to put the Pirates, another surprise, not in the basement. They are, again, a younger team coming up, although a lot does hinge on Brian Hayes, their star player who left the game early yesterday with an injury. I don't know what the update is on that. So this could be very fluid right now. And then the Cincinnati Reds, the depleted Cincinnati Reds in last place. Stroman to the Sox at the deadline, a hot take. Yeah. We'll see what the Cubs want to do. It's too bad we couldn't have held on to Mike Rodolfo. We'll see where he ends up because the Sox have so many great outfielders that there's not going to be room in the major league. So that is a position of depth that the Sox can deal from. Also, I keep forgetting to bring up Oscar Colas, who is a left-handed a great outfielder who I think will be coming up. Maybe we'll see him a little bit this year, but I think he's going to break camp with the team next year. And he's a lefty. We've always been looking for lefties. We have our future left-handed right fielder already in the system. So the White Sox outfield is really set. It is a place that we can deal from if we need to. Okay, so as probably everybody has picked, because none of these are very close in my opinion. Maybe in the NL East, the Mets will be pretty interesting, but I still say it's Braves, Brewers, and Dodgers winning the divisions, with the wild card teams coming out of the West being the Giants. The Giants and the Mets for sure. The third one is going to be the tough one. It might end up being the St. Louis Cardinals just because of the unbalanced schedule, and they were able to rack up a lot of wins. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't pick them. And also, if it wasn't for the fact that Fernando Tatis is out, I would be picking the Padres. And he's out for half a season. He's out for a substantial amount of time. So I suppose I will go with the Cardinals to be the third and probably lowest seeded National League wildcard team. Heading to the American League now in the East, which is easily the most fierce division in all of baseball. You got to go with the Blue Jays, I think, at number one. This is a wild one because you never really know. I certainly never know how to handicap the Tampa Bay Rays. They always seem like they've got talent, but they're going to be a decent team, and then they go off and they win 95 games. I guess I will think that they'll do that again. I just have to go on faith at this point. I've got to go on their own track record. So I'll take Blue Jays first, Tampa Bay Rays second, Yankees third, and then Red Sox fourth, and those poor Baltimore Orioles. They don't stand a chance. I mean, they're a tough young team. They're so far away from competing, and they're in this division. That's going to be a rough one for a while for Baltimore. In the West, I hate to do it, but how can you not? It's the Houston Astros that will absolutely run away with the West. Seattle Mariners are a much improved team. They are a fun, fierce young team, but I think they'll be quite a ways off in second place in the West. And we have now I like to swing for the fences a little bit and put myself out there. I really want to put the Rangers above the Angels because there's a lot of fun momentum. I think you have that combination of veteran star power and Simeon and Seager that came in this year. And of course, younger guys coming up. I just don't think they're quite there yet. So I will put the Angels in third place. But it might be a neck and neck battle between Texas and Anaheim, and I'd like to see that, to be honest. The Angels are such a top heavy team. They have a handful of really, really good stars, and then it drops off really quickly. They do finally have some good youngsters coming up. Joe Adell. There's been so much pressure on him. Maybe he puts it together this year. Jared Walsh, he destroyed the White Sox at the beginning of the season last year. Had a year overall. But combine that, of course, with Shohei Ohtani. Can he repeat last year's amazing season? And then Mike Trout. What is left in Mike Trout's tank? He is, of course, when healthy, one of the best players in all of baseball. Alex, I've because you've been asking, picks to click is on this list. We will be talking about picks to click. There are picks to click this year, and I'll tell you right now that we will be going instead of week to week, month to month. So you can think about this. You don't have to make your picks today. I'm going to give everybody this weekend to watch the team. I know it's been tough to watch spring training. Not that many games were televised compared to in the past. So everybody gets a free look at this weekend, and then make your picks for who you think your offensive and starting pitcher picks to click will be for the month of April. So you can think about that. We'll get back to that. There's a lot more details about how this year's contest is going to run. This being Trout being wasted on the Angels is so terrible. And at a certain point, you just have to blame him because he signed that long-term extension. It would have been so much fun to see him lead a team that took winning games seriously. The general manager over there never invested in pitching all of this time. They've had some terrible setbacks with like a tragic car crash with Nick Adenhart. They've had some really bad things happen as well, where they've lost their star pitchers to death, which is not something that happens very often, but that is what Anaheim had to deal with. However, this year they picked up Noah Syndergaard, which is the first exciting pitching signing they've done in a very long time. So, I kind of root for Syndergaard to come back just because of his story, not because I'm rooting for the Angels. So we'll see. That could be an exciting revelation, seeing what happens with Noah Syndergaard this year out in Anaheim. And then, and then obviously the Oakland A's in last place, and I hope that they lose 120 games. That's it. They're a team that was in the playoffs recently. They eliminated the White Sox from the playoffs 2 years ago. They were a decent team. There's so much money in baseball, and the Oakland A's just don't spend any of it. And they got rewarded this offseason that they are now part of the profit sharing. They're a profit sharing team, so they get free money. I think they'll be getting more money than they're spending, and that's not even an exaggeration. Their payroll is like 40 million or so, somewhere insanely low, considering Mike Judge, the creator of Beavis and Butthead. No, Aaron Judge just turned down a contract extension offer from the Yankees that would have paid him $35 million per year annually. I cannot believe he turned that down with the injury history he has, but he's betting on himself that he's going to stay healthy this year. So that takes a look at the West and East, and now, of course, our division. I think our division might be one of the more improved in baseball, and I don't think it's the weakest division in all baseball. I think that narrative has been going on too long as well, too, because I don't see any of these teams as a true basement dweller team. Obviously, somebody has to be, but you look at the Oakland A's, you look at the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Baltimore Orioles; those are basement teams. I have to put the Kansas City Royals in last place. They're a much better team than those other teams mentioned. So the floor of our division has definitely gone up. Kansas City, they're probably not going to compete very strongly, but they're not a terrible team either, not in the same category as the other ones. And I've got Cleveland next. It was fun seeing that Cleveland lost their opening day yesterday. Anytime Shane Bieber is on the mound for them and they lose the game, that's a game that they should have won. And we'll see how healthy Shane Bieber stays this year. Of course, he missed about half the year last year, but when he is healthy, he is amazing. And of course, they've got a number of good arms and intriguing arms. I don't know why they used Tristan McKenzie for 3 innings yesterday in relief. They basically just rode him until he gave up the lead, but he's a guy with a lot of upside, I think, as well. I don't know if they're going to groom him. Well, I guess they won't groom him to be a closer, as they signed Emmanuel Clase to a long-term extension, which is a really good move on Cleveland's part, as they also picked up Jose Ramirez. I always love, even though he's the Sox killer, I always love when a team can hold on to their star long-term. I think it's good for baseball. I don't know if it really is, but it's a thing I like to see happen. So I do have Cleveland next, just because Oh, and Miles Straw, I want to give a shout out to him. Their center fielder, I think that was one of the best pickups I've seen from Cleveland in a long time. They picked him up last year from Houston. So they finally have a good outfielder, which they haven't had in a very long time. But still, again, top heavy talent, and then a lot of holes in the team. So I think that still relegates them, in my opinion, to fourth place. Third place, middle of the pack here, I have the Minnesota Twins. They have had a crazy offseason. As we showed in a recent video, the AL Central War, as I called it, the Twins made so many moves, but between the trade deadline of last year to today, they kind of broke even. They got rid of so many good pieces, and I think the biggest piece that they lost is Jose Barrios. Of course, they're going to miss Nelson Cruz a little bit as well, Josh Donaldson. But then they pick up Carlos Correa, one of the best players in all of baseball. So he does make up a lot of ground. Sonny Gray makes up ground, but they lost so much as well. And then they picked up Chris Paddock just yesterday. If we have time, we'll talk about that. 17 minutes till first pitch. I got to hurry it up. Let's see. Of course, Tigers in second place, and the White Sox. I still say the White Sox. I don't want to say they run away with it, but I think they safely win the division. Let's see. We need the competition. Absolutely, says Mike. We do need the competition. That is what's going to prime us for facing the really high level competition in the playoffs. Something the White Sox didn't have to deal with too much last year. Yes, absolutely. And yes, Detroit is so improved. Just their youngsters coming up were already making a big impact last year. And then they add on top of that, Eduardo Rodriguez, who the White Sox are facing today, who I don't think he's he's not an elite level player, but he's definitely a good pitcher. Hopefully the White Sox, I think Giolito matches up well against him. I still do think the White Sox will win today. Of course, I'm always going to be optimistic about the White Sox. And of course, they got Javi Baez, who is one of the most exciting players to watch in the game. And it works both ways. He makes some of the most electric, amazing plays. And he also makes some of the most boneheaded plays because he's so over emotional on the field. So hopefully he takes away as much as he gives to the team. As a White Sox fan, I say this, of course. And there you go. So there's your standings. Now let's try to really quickly look at wild card. I do think the Tigers make it. And I wanted to mention that Chris Sale is out for at least 2 months, which is why I have the Blue Jays so far, or the Red Sox so far down. That they lost Eduardo Rodriguez to the Tigers, and of course they're losing their ace Chris Sale for a while as well. Let's see. Alex says, can't wait to watch Javi Baez look absolutely foolish at the plate in high leverage situations. Yeah, that guy has been batting near the Mendoza line for a while now. His offensive production dropped off a cliff. He did bounce back a bit in New York after he was traded. But yeah, I really don't know what to make of him. It seemed like it was going to be a blip, but that blip lasted a long time. He's always going to provide more value at the plate, but his swing and miss, as Mike says, is unreal. That's exactly what I was about to say. He strikes out so much. Let's see, where are we going? Oh yeah, wild card teams. So, I think it's a little bit boring to just be picking one from each division, but I think that's what I have to do because, in the West, you have the Astros and Mariners at the top, and then everybody else. I don't think the Angels will really compete for that spot. In the Central, the Tigers are going to be able to beat up on Cleveland and Kansas City. That'll help pad their win total. Hopefully, the White Sox can stand in the way of that a bit, but they're a quality enough team that they should make the wild card. And you just cannot. It's so wild that Toronto is so good now when you still have the Yankees, Red Sox, and Tampa Bay Rays. That could be such a tough division that it's tough to get the all wild card from there. So, man, maybe am I going to talk myself into picking not somebody from the East? Nah, you can never pick against the Rays, but I'll go on record saying that was the toughest pick to make, and they might end up being the lowest seeded wild card team because they're in such a tough division. Let's see. Alex says he likes the Tigers sneaking into the playoffs with their acquisition of a slugger like Austin Meadows. Good call. Okay, so where do we go next? So we have a lot of White Sox news, actually. The good news, I thought Andrew Vaughn was going to start the season on the injured list. He is not. He's looking pretty good out there. He came back to play some spring training games, so he's not on the injured list. Somebody I didn't see coming going on the injured list is Yoan Moncada. We are losing him for about 3 weeks. So when making your April picks to click, don't pick Yoan Moncada. He's expected back at the beginning of May. an oblique strain. It's an injury that can be a very nagging injury for a baseball player. He's somebody that I think would have been a breakout potential type guy in my book, looking at the season, but he's definitely going to be off to a bad start. And this poor guy, he hasn't had the catastrophic injuries like we've seen Luis and Eloy have, but he's had he was one of the first players in the White Sox, maybe the first player with the White Sox to get COVID, and it hit him hard. And then he's had just other nagging injuries. I hope he can get over that hump and stay healthy once he gets back in May. Pardon me. Take a sip of my coffee in a nice White Sox koozie. Tastes like extra White Sox. And of course, we are missing Tim Anderson for the first 2 games of the season. Thank you, Major League Baseball. And this stems from the benches clearing altercation in Detroit last year. It was at the end of the year when Jose Abreu was getting hit by pitches all the time. And the White Sox were in Tony La Russa. Speedster Tony La Russa was really standing up for him. And I think Jose was getting to the point where he just had enough of it. He had been hit so many times. He got hit again in in Detroit, I think a few days in a row. He was really ticked off. He went to first base in first opportunity he could get. He tried to make it to second on a pitch in the dirt. Contact with the fielder. Bench is clear. Tim Anderson was pushed from behind, as his story goes. He was pushed behind. He didn't know who it was, so he pushed back, turned around. Whoops, that was an umpire. And so obviously you can't make contact with an umpire, but according to Tim Anderson, he didn't know it was an umpire until he saw him, and then he backed off, and that still earned him a $10,000 fine and 2-game suspension. I get you have to do something, but can't you, especially as we're coming out of the lockout, which generates all sorts of bad press for baseball. Do you really want to remove one of the most exciting young players in the game, somebody that people actually tune in to watch, especially for opening day? That is really rough. Just fine him and move on. But yeah, it's yet another one of these like old school ideas that baseball holds on to that maybe they get in their way a little bit. Not that it's okay to push an umpire, but he didn't know who it was. It was in the middle of that scrum. Everybody's pushing everybody. So I think if you have to fine him, but then live with it. Mike, I think Jose takes 20 more. They're scared of him and pitch him inside. It takes me back to obviously a long time ago. Frank Thomas was getting hit over and over and over again. And Hawk Harrelson, the legendary, the now Ford C. Frick award-winning Hall of Fame broadcaster, Hawk Harrelson, said, Frank Thomas charges the mound one time and he's not going to get thrown at again. Of course, Frank was built like a linebacker, even more so than Jose. Sometimes, and I guess maybe I'm now buying into the old school stuff, sometimes you got to stand up for yourself in such a way that a pitcher be afraid to throw inside. Then your offensive numbers go up because you don't have to worry about the inner half of the plate. Wendy and Alex are missing Tim Anderson today. But yes, Tim will be there for the home opener. And Tim, he is sound bite extraordinaire that he said, yeah, I'll miss the home opener, but I don't care about Detroit fans. I'll be there for the Chicago fans. Of course, he wants to play every single game, but that was still a fun soundbite. Let me take a quick look, and I emphasize quick because we are 9 minutes away from first pitch at the roster. Oh, a big one I didn't mention yet when it comes to White Sox news. I know everybody watching this knows already, but yes, Lance Lynn is out for about 2 months. They say he'll be probably off his feet for 1 month and then working his way back, getting back into game shape. A torn ligament in his knee is going to keep him out. And I thought the White Sox pitching depth would be exposed by the end of the season as maybe Michael Kopech is coming up to his innings limit. But no, right off the bat, we will be missing a starter. And it's a big one. So now our rotation will be Giolito, Cease, of course. I've got big hopes for Dylan Cease this year. He has proved me right throughout his career so far, just constantly improving. I hope he takes another step forward and maybe is our ace by the end of the year. And instead of Lynn, by now we will have Kopech, which is going to be exciting to see him as a starter. I don't know how much his arm is built up so far. And of course, then we have Dallas Keuchel. And then our fifth spot, which should have been Dallas Keuchel, will now be some combination of Ronaldo Lopez and Vince Velasquez. So it was very nice to pick up Vince. And I think you kind of have to look at in my opinion, how I would handle it if I was in LaRusse's orthopedic shoes, that I would think of Lopez and Velasquez as kind of co-starters. Expect them each to pitch about 3 innings to get through the first 6 of the game, and then hand it off to the bullpen. We'll see how that goes. But then the exciting news for pitching depth is signing Johnny Cueto. Now, you can't expect too much from him at this point. He is a veteran. His best days are behind him. But the White Sox need some pitching depth and somebody with experience. And talk about experience and World Series and playoff experience. Johnny Cueto is that guy. If he can just work his way up to game shape and then give us 5 or 6 starts before Lance Lynn comes back, that could be a really nice Band-Aid. I don't expect Cueto to spend the full season with the White Sox, but if he can just get us through till Lynn comes back, that would be so ideal and absolutely so helpful to us. Let me see. Oh yeah, and Ryan Burr is also on the injured list, a bullpen arm. Okay, so I want to go through and take a quick look. I think this is going to be final because the headline is White Sox finalized opening day roster. Just talk about a couple of names that were not on my list when I was making my opening day prediction. And part of that is because White Sox traded away Zach Collins to pick up Reese McGuire, a pretty good looking backup catcher from the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm excited about that move. Nothing against Zach Collins, but the White Sox are in a mode right now where they can't be developing everybody. It's time to just have some veterans on the team that can play. And Reese McGuire is a veteran catcher, a really good backup for Yasmani Grandal. Hopefully Yaz can stay healthy. And hello, John Smith. Thanks for joining the chat. We will just go up to first pitch, which is in about 6 minutes. And hey, if anybody sees that the game is delayed or anything, please do let me know. But I'm going to assume we're starting on time, even though it is a kind of a cold, miserable day in Detroit. So looking around, I'm excited to see what Josh Harrison provides this year. Let's see and of course, Moncada is out. The one person that won't be feeling the cold today is Jake Berger. He gets his first opening day roster invite, but also he's going to be starting today and probably for the next couple of weeks as Moncada works his way back from that oblique injury. I'm very excited to see if Jake Berger can be the spark plug to the White Sox that maybe Yermin was last year. Taking a look at comments really quick. Thankful for Zach. He hit some big home runs. And glad he still has a chance to win. Absolutely. Just like Mike Rodolfo, I don't know where he's going to end up. The White Sox just, again, have too much talent at outfield. Picking up AJ Pollock was really cool. I got to say, again, I've said it many times on this channel, but I used to live in Arizona at the time that Jake Lamb was an MVP candidate in Arizona, and AJ Pollock was just a Luis style Gold Glover out there. Not as much upper body strength as Luis, but still a very, very, very solid outfielder. So I'm excited to see what he will supply. Also, he batted around 300 last year, so it's not like when we picked up Adam Eaton last year. This guy is a guy that has a chance to make a really big impact in Chicago. All right, so going back to the roster, I want to make sure I don't miss anybody else. And of course, we still have Adam Engel. I thought maybe when we picked up Pollock that Engel was going to be on his way out as part of a trade package so that we could keep Adolfo on the team because he was out of options. We cannot, you can't have a really talented player and just bury his career in the minor leagues. He has to get, and I think this is a beautiful thing about baseball and the way the business of baseball works. If you don't use your high-end minor leaguer after a while, he becomes a free agent. You just lose him to, give him a chance to play somewhere. Oh, bullpen. So yeah, there's some differences here. So I predicted Bennett Sousa would make the team, and apparently he did. Tanner Banks made it, and Kyle Crick. So congrats to all of them, and Matt Foster, who I think that's because there have been some injuries and some shuffling around. Technically Velasquez left the bullpen and went into the starting rotation, so that opened up a spot. I heard Matt Foster was not going to make the team, but then he did make the team. So good on him. And of course, we still do have Joe Kelly on the injured list, but he should be able to come back fairly soon into the season. But yeah, congrats to all of those young arms that made the team out of spring training on the opening day roster. Of course, the White Sox and all baseball has a 28-man roster. I feel like that could get extended a little bit longer. It's only supposed to go, I think, till the end of this month, maybe even just 2 weeks. But spring training was really short. So I don't think everybody is going to be ready to throw 6, 7 innings as starters this year. Alex thanks me for the live stream. Thank you for jumping on. And let's see what we got as we have 2 minutes left. Okay. Pick to click is next. So as I mentioned, you will pick for the month, not for the week anymore. We will have first, second, and third place. Last year, we only did first and second place for most of the year. But you pick your offensive player, first, second, third place. You get points for participating, as always. You'll also pick a starting pitcher. And there's just going to be a first and second place for starting pitching. And let's see what else. Oh, so like before, there's going to be a bonus point for picking somebody that hits a walk-off hit. We will also have a bonus point for the first offensive player to pick up 3 home runs in that given month. So I guess, I'm being nice and happy here on opening day. If somebody hits 3, your deadline to pick is Monday. If somebody hits 3 this weekend, you can kind of pick them and get your bonus points. That's the reward for watching the live stream. Thank you for watching, Mike. And Adolf, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking it out. Oh, and also quickly, I'll put it a separate video out that just goes over all the new picks to click rules. The points will go up each and every single month. So May will be more expensive than April, and so on and so on and so on, until we start to look at the playoffs and do it just by round of the playoffs. And, it's 12:09. I think I brought it right up there. I think there's probably a rule or two I missed, but we're going to have a fun season. I'll be doing live streams most Sundays before game time. So check me out then. Enjoy the game, everybody. Hey, Chooch, thanks for joining. Let's get it, White Sox. I'll be at the home opener, but let's back up these kitty cats from Detroit today. That's awesome, Chooch. Thanks for watching, Wendy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Play ball and go Sox.